We're live.
I'm just acting. I sit like it's all time.
Good evening, ladies. Good evening, sis.
Good evening.
And don't you all look beautiful this evening? So do you. Oh. Welcome to the August meeting of the Kershaw County Republican Women's Club. We'll
Yay.
Yay.
We're going live, right? Are we live right now? Okay, do it again. Do it again, sis.
Okay. I would want to do it again. I think everybody's already heard it once. But just to make the senator happy, welcome to the Kershaw County Republican Women's Club meeting for August of 2022.
Thank you.
Yay!
We're going to start with a prayer, and Miss Brittany Robinson will do that for us. Praise the Lord.
Thank you, God, for letting us come together tonight and be with like-minded people. Please put your hand on this meeting and guide our decisions so that we may glorify you. Thank you, Jesus.
Amen.
Amen.
Okay, and Senator Gustafson will lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance, and then the South Carolina Republican Creed.
Okay, y'all join me.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, now for the creed.
Y'all can read along or not. And you can sit down if you want.
Go ahead and sit down.
Y'all can sit down.
This is just a creed, it's not pledge. Okay.
I do not choose
To be a common man, it is my right to be uncommon.
If I can see opportunity, not security,
I want to take the calculated risk to dream and build, to fail and to succeed. I refuse to barter incentive for gold. I prefer the challenges of life to guarantee security, the thrill of fulfillment to the stale calm of utopia. I will not trade freedom for beneficence, nor my dignity for a handout. I will never cower before any master, save my God. It is my heritage to stand erect, proud and unafraid, to think and act for myself, enjoy the benefits of my creations, to face the whole world boldly and say, I am a free American.
Thank you, Senator. Let's see, we need to welcome Senator Gustafson, and we need to welcome Autumn Stand-Up. Amanda's not here to introduce you, so I will. This is the new secretary for the Kershaw County Republican Party. She was just voted on and put in the week before last. So this is Miss April, Autumn. You're going to be April for a long time.
That's all right.
Autumn Dunlap. Yes.
All right.
And we have a whole table full of steeplechase over here. All right. I would like to. Oh, that's right, you are. I'm sorry. I think if you know I was the president of the other, not necessarily the treasurer of the other.
I'm both.
This is Angela Knight. She is Kershaw County Republican Party treasurer and the president of the Steeplechase Republican Women's Club. All right. I would like to get somebody to give us a motion to accept tonight's agenda. A motion to accept tonight's agenda.
I move that we set the agenda as written.
Okay.
Is there a second?
Second.
All right, got that, Alicia.
Then we vote.
we need to welcome our newest associate member, that would be Miss Cassandra Torres.
Hi, friend.
And her profession I find extremely intriguing, especially as far as how we ourselves can utilize knowing her. So we're going to give her the floor for the next 2 to 3 minutes.
Awesome. I'm gonna get the end, Miss Sissy, but okay. So, hello, everybody. For those who don't know me, I go back here. Okay. Hello, friends. For those who don't know me, my name is Krishanda Torres. I am an Air Force veteran who retired here in Camden, South Carolina. I'm also a full-time health coach. And so I help women over 40 get rid of sugar and get their gut right. And so today, Miss Sissy asked me to come and bring a health tip for you. So I'm going to talk to you about collagen. Anybody know about collagen? I have some friends who know about collagen. Okay, so our body has about 3 basic components that we need. We need water, we need protein, and we need fat. And about 30 to 35% of the protein is collagen, right? And we lose about 1% each year from our mid-20s. I know that's terrible. That was just 10 years ago for us, right?
Yeah, 3 years.
Yes. So sun, sugar, bad diets, caffeine, pollution, and chemicals can all cause damage. So after 30, not only do we produce less, but the quality of what we produce is actually worse. So this is why our toddlers and our grandchildren have those plus cheeks and 0 wrinkles, whereas the ladies, not us, because our youth is being renewed as eagles, the other ladies have wrinkles and joint issues, right? It's not because they're old, but it's actually because they lost their collagen. So I'm sure you're wondering, Alicia, what type should we look for when it comes to collagen, right? I'm so glad that you asked. Thank you for asking. So powdered collagen really is a waste of money, okay? Because you're only roughly getting about 30% of the nutrients from the powder form. So what you want is you want a liquid collagen, ladies. If you didn't already know that, that's just a tip for you. The liquid collagen allows you to get about 98% of your nutrients. So you also want to find one that has hyaluronic acid in it. Hyaluronic acid helps to hold moisture, and moisture is what every cell of our body needs, right? And then finally, our bodies will recognize a liquid collagen supplement as like our own because it's more highly bioavailable. So if your collagen does not mirror your own body, you're really wasting your money when you purchase it. So here's 4 benefits for you about liquid collagen. It gives you improved joint mobility and lubrication. It decreases skin dryness, reduces joint discomfort, increases healthy cartilage and connective tissue, longer, healthier hair and nails. Girl, look at these nails. So let's age gracefully and healthfully, shall we?
Yeah, thank
Can you drink it, or do you have to put it on?
Cassandra will be giving us a maturing ladies tip every time she's here. Okay, so we will be hearing more from her. She's going to have a little tip for us every time. All right, help us stay young, help us stay healthy.
Yes.
I mean, because no matter what age we're in, the stage of life we're in, we're all maturing.
Yes.
You know, the 16-year-old is maturing. My 59 and going to 58 soon, but it's maturing, you know? So I think it's very important that we have reminders of what we need to be doing. Because as women, we take care of other people far more than we take care of ourselves.
It's true.
And so that's one of the things that we need to do as women, is we need to take care of ourselves. And our song is going to help us.
Amen.
Okay, next we have Miss Olisa McKim, and she's going to tell us what this is about. We filled this up last month. She's going to take it
That is
with us,
fantastic.
and I'm going to hand out one of these on each end. And ladies, we're going to dump money in there, and she's going to tell us the program right now.
Hi,
Get your
everybody. My name is Elisa McKim. I was the executive director for the Midlands Women's Center, which was the crisis pregnancy center here back on Walnut Street for 15 years. So the center is no longer open. It's probably been about 5 years now, and a lot of our equipment and the ultrasound machine and all of that went to a very good cause, which is Daybreak, which is downtown Columbia, and it is across the street from Planned Parenthood. So the bottles are about, it's Change for Life. It is, those bottles are the reason that I got involved in that ministry to begin with. And I will share this story with you, although it wasn't planned. But there's about 1 in 4 women will have an abortion in their lifetime. In some areas it might be higher than that, in some places it might be lower than that. But that's a pretty staggering number when you think about it. And a lot of those women will never tell anyone that they had an abortion, so they kind of carry it around. There's not really a place to grieve after you've had an abortion, so you just kind of keep it. You don't have a funeral service, you don't do anything about that grief or loss that you may have felt. But a lot of women, with Roe being overturned, which thank you, Lord, for that, and a lot of our South Carolina, our senators, including Henry Rep here, taking a stand for these life issues. We know that abortion is, science has shown us, not just science, but also God has shown us, which that we are all created in His image, and He doesn't make mistakes. So we make mistakes often, but He doesn't. So I can tell you in the 15 years I'm working there that I saw some incredible miracles. And we have not, I've seen babies now that are now in high school. And I see them, sometimes I'll see them with their mom, and their mom will just come up to me and say, thank you so much for that time that you shared, that you talked to me and counseled me and helped me through that difficult time. So some of the things that I was going to share my testimony when I checked, I just had not. So, but anyway, those bottles that went around, I was sitting in a church, and one of those bottles came around, and I was a brand new Christian. I didn't have had never had a Bible, didn't know any of the songs, didn't know how anything worked. I just knew that I loved Jesus, and I was a Christian now, so I had no idea how to serve and do anything. So the only thing I thought I could do, well, I could fold clothes at the pregnancy care center. I can do that. And so that's what I did, and I got involved because the bottle was passed around at the church. So bottles, you know, a little bit of change goes a long way, but it's kind of like a reminder. Kids like to empty your pockets and throw the change in there. The checks are great too, but I'll tell you what this is. So we've had a gap of about 4 years where there was not any kind of a crisis pregnancy center in Kershaw County. Even though we have Central Carolina right here, we have lots of college kids, we know that. So, and 3 high schools, 2 high schools? 3 high schools.
North Central Lake off Elgin and Camden High School.
And Camden High, so 3 high schools. So there was a lot of, I can tell you, I saw a lot of high school kids. So they need to have a place where if abortion is not on the table, they need to have a safe place where they can go as an option. And it breaks my heart to see that they are, they've destroyed 87, like firebombed 87 crisis pregnancy centers. And what a crisis pregnancy center does is the opposite of what Planned Parenthood does. And so by what I'll just explain, Planned Parenthood does do abortion. It does not do women's health care. They don't do mammograms. I can tell you because I've called so many and I've asked the questions myself. And so I know for a fact they don't do those things. You know who does do those things for free and has always and will continue? The health department around the corner. They have forever. They're in every single county. So free women's health care is available at every health department, including birth control for free. So just to throw that out there, because a lot of people always say, well, we need free women's health care for birth control. It's available. We also need to be a little more accountable for our actions, because if you keep having unprotected sex, you might get pregnant. That's just a side effect, right? We know this. So I personally was very happy when Roe versus Wade got overturned, and I thought, you know, there's a lot of people that still wanted to have a crisis pregnancy center here. So the way it is right now, it is by appointment only. Part of it has to do with the firebombed pregnancy care centers. So 87 have been destroyed and targeted across our country because of Roe versus Wade. What the pregnancy care center does is actually minister to the woman, help with pregnancy tests. They counsel them through it. If they want to have an abortion, they're free to have an abortion. We do talk about the abortion risks, because there are some significant risks to whether it's pending or ready abortion. So all of those things, we talk about those things with the girl. We pray with her, and we ask her what her support system might be. So a lot of times these girls are just scared, especially when they see the 2 lines. So what they need to do is, find out maybe their boyfriend might be supportive, their mom might be supportive, they might have a bigger support system than they think, or else an adoption. There's a lot of different things that happen during that conversation. And we need to make sure that we do have a safe place here, and we do, but it's attached to Lugoff Baptist Church, which is why they don't want a firebombing going on, because it's in the seminary building, which is right next door. So it's by appointment only, and it is, right now, I have, the phone number is on here, so you can call. I think it's on here somewhere. Well, I can give you the phone number. I don't know why it's not on here. I think it's because they're actually in transition, and I called. Her name is Mary Beth. She's the working executive director. She's kind of keeping things together right now. They are actively searching, and this is on their prayer request list. They're looking for a permanent building, and they are looking for an executive director. So,
What's the number?
the number is 420-3029, and her name is Mary Beth.
420, one more time, sorry.
It's 803-420-3029.
Okay.
It's called the Hope for Life Pregnancy Center. And it's by appointment only, but the other things that they do there is for new moms. They have all kinds of baby equipment, there's free diapers, like nothing pays for diapers, and I know that's a huge problem. Like I know Brittany's going, amen.
Yeah.
So,
Just fine in formula.
Or formula patients have allergies. If you have to get the hypoallergenic, which doesn't cover that, it's too expensive.
Exactly.
Oh, really?
So we had like an entire kitchen full of formula. All kinds, soy-free, sensitive, dairy-free, like every kind of possible. So all of that, everything is nonprofit, so it doesn't, all the money goes to help girls. So it helps the girls and to actually have an actual physical building. So anyway, these bottles will go directly back to, they're on Lugoff, like I said, it's directly next to Lugoff Baptist Church on Longtown Road. If you want to drive by, it's called the Serenity House. That's the name of the actual building where they will be counseling the girls. But a little bit of change can make a big, huge difference, especially as they're trying to, they have a board. There's 5 people on the board, and Angie Osborne is one that has been with the center and in the different stages since we've been doing. So if you just keep them in prayer, fill up your bottles, you can put a check. Everything is tax deductible as well because it is a nonprofit and it is for good cause. So I will make sure you guys want to take one home and then bring it back to the next meeting. We can do that. Fill it with quarters, dollars.
Yeah.
I need an empty one.
We got several empty ones here. We will be filling up 1 or 2 of them with each meeting.
And if you have kids, they like them a lot. They used to come back all the time and they were like sucked on. So now they're hard.
So they're not as much fun.
I don't know if moms actually tried to use them. I don't know if you guys want to.
Thank you, Elise.
Well, thank you so much. It's a worthwhile program bringing babies into the world.
Yes, ma'am.
Especially with the world that we have nowadays. So many people trying to justify the murder of infants. And that's just how I see it. It's the murder. I don't see anything good about it. Can't find anything good about it. Unless the mother's life is in danger. And then I can go along with that.
Yes, that's called exemption.
That's,
Yes.
But let's fill these bottles up. We're going to do that every meeting so we can continue to help those who need our help. We don't need to know who our help's going to. We just need to know there's those out there who need our help. And the Lord has asked us to go. And I think that giving our change once a month is kind of small. All right. Now we're going to listen to Brittany Robinson, and she is going to tell us about giving our own family a brand new life. You just take these names and shoot with you.
Okay, well, I'm Brittany Robinson. I am running for this Kershaw High School board. I'm running for seat number 6. Yes, that's Cassett, Timrod, Mount Pisgah, that whole eastern part, that rural part. So I'm asking for donations for shoes. I'll take any kind of shoes you have as long as they don't have holes in the bottom of it. These shoes will be donated. I'm going to collect them. I need really about 2,500 pounds, but I'm trying to get as much as I can in the time that I've got. And Funds to Org will pay me. They're going to pay me about 40 cents per pound. And they sell them to third world countries and startups. So it is a good cause to repurpose your shoes, and it's an even better cause to support school board candidates. So, you know, word of mouth is really important. If you know people or people that you're working with, anyone, you know, I'll take shoes. I'll come and collect them, yes.
Where could we bring them to you? What address? Your home address or some other place?
I can meet you, or I can meet you, because I live all the way in Camden. That might be a far drive.
Well, actually, you're in my district.
Oh, am
You'd
I?
be my representative.
Oh, really? Well, how
Yeah.
exciting. Good idea.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I have the opportunity to vote for you.
You do?
Yeah.
I mean, I can meet you, or...
Well, okay, what's your cell number for all of us?
Oh, my cell phone is, are you ready? 843-340-9490. Thank you.
All right, ladies, let's give our shoes a brand new. Everybody bring her a bag of shoes next time. If you didn't get that phone number, you'll lose it. Call me. Somewhere in your email, you've got my number. All right, we're gonna get her into school board seat 6. Yes, ma'am.
Brittany, can I announce that in church?
Yes, absolutely. Announce away. Absolutely.
Maybe
So
I'll
she has
meet-
3 weeks.
Oh my gosh.
Well,
Maybe
I'm
give
thinking
All
about
shoes on deck.
3 weeks because it's going to take me time to have them collect it because they come around in a truck, and then it's going to take a couple days for them to process the shoes and then pay me, and then I've got to turn around and buy yard signs, palm cards, things like that for my campaign.
I have a Bible study of about 100 people Wednesday morning. I want you, I'm going to give you my email. You send me the information so I can present it.
That would be great.
Okay?
Awesome. Yeah.
If you got her phone number, if you need mine, let's get these shoes to her so we can get her on the school board and find some sanity in our school.
Yes.
Okay, now that's the laundry. All right. The other day, a story was told at the Kershaw County Council meeting. And it was extremely well told and extremely relevant to today's society and culture. And as a stamping point to the end of last week's meeting where we talked about the toxicity in today's culture, I would like everybody to listen to Miss Susan Jones, and she has a kitchen table story for us. Miss Jones.
Yay.
Hey everyone, I'm Susan Jones. My people are from Bethune and Cassett, so I'm very familiar with the area that you're running to represent. So congratulations and good luck to you. I have a confession. That's okay.
We still love you, Miss Susan. We still love
Thank you so much.
We love everybody.
I gotta tell y'all, when Miss Sissy invited me, I was telling some of my friends, I was like, y'all, I get to go and talk with a group of women that I've never met before. I'm so excited. They're like, well, what's the name of the group? I was like, it's the Republican women. I'm like, yay.
We do not fight.
That's
And
right.
see,
That's
We
right.
don't like.
And they're like, Susan, if we don't hear from you by 8, you just let us ping your phone or something. Okay, no, it really, I'm very humbled to be here, very honored to be here. And Miss Sissy, I just thank you so much for allowing me to come here. A little bit of background, I grew up here in Camden. My parents were educators here. My dad was principal at Midway Elementary, and my mom was principal at Woodolph Elementary. So when you're an only child, and both your parents are principals, guess what you end up doing? teaching, because they won't let you do anything else. Yay! But anyway, it's a great town to grow up in. I love Kershaw County. I moved back here 2 years ago. My father passed away. As a matter of fact, my father was head of the Democratic Party for a good while here, and he may cross over East Bridge, or not his bridge, but bridge named after him from Camden to Little, Bobby Jones Bridge, which we were so humbled by him because my dad was always a bridge builder. Just, I don't know if any of you know Gene McCaskill.
Oh, yeah.
My dad and Gene were good buddies, and never heard either one of them say an ugly thing about each other. Matter of fact, you'd see them hugging, and on election nights they'd go there joking with each other. So that's what I grew up with. We didn't grow up with this nastiness and talking about each other, and so anyway, about 4 weeks ago, a friend of mine called and said, Susan, are you watching the county council meeting online? I said, well, no. He said, turn it on. I was like, why? He said, just turn it on and watch it. So I did. And after, I literally cried. I was like, I don't recognize this county. I don't recognize this county. This is not where I grew up. And it made me sad. So I watched it over about 2 or 3 times. And I actually felt my dad nudge me. He passed away, and I felt him nudge me. Said, you got to do something. And so I put together a few thoughts, and this is what I came up with, and I presented last week to County Council, so bear with me. And I'll just read what I wrote, so just, I usually don't use notes, but anyway. Mr. Chairman, Mr. Vice Chairman, council members, and fellow citizens of Kershaw County, my name is Susan Jones. Now, I'm not here to criticize, to judge, or condemn. I'm not here to make a request, to complain, or to impose my way of thinking on anyone else. I'm simply here to share a story about a kitchen table. You see, in my home in Concord Drive in Valley Park, we had a round kitchen table. Now, it was not uncommon for me to come home from basketball practice at Camden High School and see a South Carolina representative sitting there, or a state senator sitting there, a governor sitting there, or a U.S. congressman sitting there. Now, as a teenager, that didn't impress me. But more often than that, I would walk in and find different members of the community sitting around that table. On most occasions, I would be in the den and I could hear some of the discussions that were taking place around that kitchen table. I would hear phrases such as, would you be willing? Does that work for you? Can we have a few more minutes discussing this particular topic? But more often I heard, let's start in the middle where common ground lives and work our way out. Now, another thing I remember is the sound of laughter, which at times grew increasingly loud. Now, as a teenager, I didn't have an appreciation of those gatherings like I do now. You see, as I grew older, I realized that the people gathered around that table, some males, some females, some African Americans, and some whites. They were gathered around that table because they all wanted the same thing. They wanted solutions. Now, they all had different ideas about how issues and challenges should be resolved, but the one thing they never lost sight of, and that was finding a solution. They worked tirelessly together to find win-wins. And that's where the middle, where common ground played a vital role. They started in the middle and they worked their way out, with each step offering each person an opportunity to contribute. There was quite a lot of give and take during those solution gatherings. Now, the one thing that I wasn't aware of at the time, that those people sitting around our kitchen table were Democrats and Republicans. One more time. There were Democrats and Republicans sitting around that kitchen table. Something I never really thought about until recently was there were some things absent from that table. Yelling. There's never any yelling. Because as we all know, good communicators know that yelling is only volume. So the content gets lost. There was never any harsh words, never any foul language or put downs. Apparently egos were not invited to that table. It was never about who was right, but what was right for the good of the people of Kershaw County. Not the Democratic people, not the Republican people, but the Kershaw County people. It's no secret that our country has had a major shift. A shift in which the word united is dimming on the light that Our Lady of Liberty holds so proudly. Now, I don't know about you, but to me, this division is not to be taken lightly. It's a little scary, actually. The anger alone that is displayed at board meetings, sporting events, government meetings, and even in churches is at a dangerous level. Sadly, just last week while grocery shopping, I took a moment to show my son where all the X's were located. You see, my son is autistic. So the mom of an autistic son, you have to go ahead and start logging in that information prior to. Because if I say to him, Elliot, run, he's like, oh, run, okay, I got it. So it takes him a minute. So when I go to places, I make sure he knows where the exit is. And I told him what to do if he heard someone start shooting. That night, I started breaking down crying because I even had to have that conversation with him. My parents never had that conversation with me. The only one I ever heard was, do not embarrass me in the grocery store. That one I did hear. Did you hear that? Yeah. Or if you didn't get it, you got, I want you to please cookies. Just do it, because I'm hormonal as your mother right now, and I promise you this will not go over well. That's the one I got.
Don't touch nothing, don't look at nothing.
That's right. And if you do act a certain way, that's your daddy's people. Don't you tell anybody that that's your daddy's people. That's not my people. Okay, that's your mother. All right. So, how did we get here? A friend of mine called me recently and suggested that I watch a certain meeting that was in progress on a live stream. I asked him why, and he said, trust me, just watch it. I actually went back and replayed it 2 or 3 times. I studied body language. I listened to the words that were used and tones. I think the thing that affected me the most was the intentional use of hurtful, derogatory, and disrespectful words. Key word here is intentional. I often hear people say that God made us all different and how right they are. But there is one thing that he gave us that is all the same, and that is free will. We are free to choose our words. So when we choose to speak to one another in such hurtful ways, I often wonder, what is the motivation? Is it a need to show what you deem as strength? In my humble opinion, Miss Sissy, I think it has become more popular to be a divider as opposed to a uniter.
Can you work on my campaign, because that's kind of part of my next.
Just don't tell anybody, okay, if my people, okay?
You'll be my anonymous.
You're blessed right.
There you go.
That's my
Listen,
message.
let me tell you something. I always tell people at the end of the day, I'm a mom, I'm a daughter, I'm a friend, I'm this. Way on down the line is where the political stuff comes in, okay?
Yeah.
Because you and I, we have more in common than we don't.
Amen.
That's it. I mean, at the bottom, I'll tell you about a story in a minute. But anyway, you know, there was, and I'm sure you will appreciate this. It used to be that people clapped when they heard an inspirational talk and talks that lifted people up. Now it appears we hear clapping when a person is being attacked, either verbally or physically. Isn't that a shame? There once was a time when reaching across that aisle to work through the difference in opinion and find common ground was looked upon in a positive manner. Now, if you even attempt to work with the opposite party, you are labeled at worst a traitor. You are hailed as a hero the more you oppose any and everything. You shake your fist, you point your finger, and whatever you do, talk over others as loudly as you can. Do not look for win wins. That's where the applause comes in. Where have all the statesmen gone?
That's the question.
Do we really want the sentiment of division to move in and take up permanent residence here in our precious county?
No.
If so, what will that division look like? Should we have a Republican and Democratic fire station? So when you call in and state that you and your family are in need of help, you are asked your address, your name,
And are you Republican or Democrat?
and then they'll ask you what political party do you belong to? And depending upon your answer, the firemen and firewomen from your political party will come and rescue you and your family. But what if, however, your party happens to be out on another call and the only available help is the opposite party's response team? Will you say, never mind, we'll figure something out? While this may seem far-fetched, just remember none of us in this room ever thought that we would be worried about living with the realization about getting killed during a church service.
We sure didn't.
If you want to talk about far-fetched, I never thought about that. Did you, Miss Sissy?
No.
What about someone walking in a school and pointing a gun at an innocent first grader or second grade? Did you ever think? It was far-fetched, wasn't it? Words matter, self-discipline matters, listening attentively matters, respect matters, empathy matters, truth matters, and let me tell you, Kershaw County matters. We matter. I pray that this present governing body and the members coming in a few months will choose to work in a harmonious and solution-focused manner. Start in the middle and work outwards. Listen attentively. You know, there's a reason that the letters in the word listen, I know you know this, when you mix them up, you know what they spell? Silent. There's a reason for that. To listen, you have to be silent. May I humbly suggest that this governing body consider enlisting the help of a professional that specializes in conflict resolution and leadership training.
Yes.
Yes,
The tone you set sitting in those seats matter. So please be brave and work together to move this county in a positive direction, even though by extending your hand across the aisle may mean you get voted out of office. But know this, nothing says leadership more than focusing on what is right and not who is right. Use the free will that God gave you in a way that will glorify Him. As we all know, going to church every Sunday does not equal being a Christian. It is what you do Sunday through Sunday that God is paying attention to. I imagine He doesn't give you a pass when you intentionally talk disrespectfully to someone. I can't imagine God saying, feel free to intentionally embarrass and talk down to others. Just make sure you show up to church on Sunday. I truly believe that the following scriptures pretty much sum up His teachings and commands. Where there is no guidance, a people fall, but in an abundance of counselors, there is safety. Matthew 20, and this one is my favorite. Let all bitterness and wrath and anger and clamor and slander be put away from you, along with all malice. Be kind to one another, tenderhearted, forgiving one another as God in Christ forgave you. Proverbs 15:1. And in closing, let us remember there are 3 gates of speech. And if you've never heard this, I think you might want to share this with others. There are 3 gates of speech. Before you open your mouth and speak, number 1, is it helpful? Number 2, is it true? Number 3, is it kind? I know how very fortunate I was to witness people with opposing beliefs work together. I know how very fortunate I was to see those opposing parties put more value in relationship building and getting things accomplished for the people of Kershaw County than in political rhetoric. That kitchen table was truly special. It makes me sad to think that maybe they don't make kitchen tables like they used to. Or do they? It is up to you. I dedicate this story to my father, Bobby Jones, who knew the vital role that kitchen table played for our family and our community every day. Thank you. Thank y'all so much. I'm very humbled by that. I want to say one other thing to you. Women are strong. Women are powerful, okay? I was sharing with someone the other day, and Miss Penny, I might be something we could talk about. I would love nothing more than maybe at the Fine Arts Center one night, have a gathering of the female elephants and donkeys. Wouldn't that be fun?
I'll be there.
And to talk to each other and talk about the things we have in common, and then we can start talking about what we may not have in common, but learn to listen. Because guess who does that better than anybody? Women. Women. And one last thing, I will say this to you. I heard at that meeting, I kept hearing people saying, wait till January, we're going to take back control, we're going to be in power, we're going to make sure such and such and such. And so in the meantime, what's going on? Nothing? We're living election cycle to election cycle.
Yes.
Wait till we get in and wait till we do this. And then what happens? Nothing. So tell your people, be brave and reach across that aisle. Thank y'all so much.
Miss Jones, let me get your picture real quick,
Oh,
Sissy, if that's all right.
Yes, ma'am.
Just before you, see, that's.
And the caption is, "This is how
And can I say something real quick? We're running real late, but I watched you. I was online live.
Oh, were you?
So I've already heard all that.
Yeah.
And I didn't comment while you were talking because I was listening. But I will tell you, this is something that what you just described is what really edged me into politics. And some of you ladies who were here with me from the very beginning, y'all know that I got into politics because I thought everybody lost their minds. And we needed, have I not said that 1,000 times? We need to bring it back and calm everybody back down, because you can't do anything with all this and all that. I called it toxic political environment. That's why I called it 2017. And it's worse. But I can tell you where I come from in the Senate, we listen to each other. I will tell you this, so it might make you feel better. Very respectful to one another. Senators are always on the floor. You're just not going to see the disrespect. And if something happens, guess what? We actually, I'm not sure I'm not supposed to say this. Turn it off. Turn it off.